Siren Blue, baby.
Yo guys, it's your boy the Purist and we're here to talk boxing. Big action last night. Tyson Fury stops Dillian Whyte in the sixth round to retain his WBC and lineal heavyweight titles. Now, the only shocking thing for me in this fight was Dillian Whyte coming out as a southpaw. The funny thing is, it's probably the best round he had in the whole fight. He should have just went back to it later on, because after that, Fury, he just found a home for the jab. He found a home for the check left hook. And it was White couldn't deal with it. White's only chance in this fight was getting in close and roughing Fury up, and he had no chance. His feet were too slow. He was throwing those looping overhand rights that I used to do, and just none of them were landing. So, yeah, what did you guys make of the fight? Go on, Jordan.
Shambles.
You want me to start, Hack? Or yeah. So I was really disappointed. You know, I think from all the performances we've had from White, I think to me that just reverted him right back to the AJ fight, the AJ grudge match. Like there was no boxing, there was no tact. Like he didn't close down the distance well enough for me. And then when he finally got Fury to the ropes, the way he was swinging like he was just any man in the pub, like it was crazy. Yeah, and I was really disappointed with his performance. I think he could have done a lot better. I was quite surprised at how slow his footwork is. Because even Fury taking a half step back, although he's got the reach, he couldn't close that distance down. And I think if you're getting outboxed, which you're always going to get outboxed by Fury, just press the guy down as fast as you can, get him on the ropes and work. But he tries to do everything at distance. And to me, no one's had success doing anything against distance, against Fury. So like, get on his chest, pound him down. He tries to roughhouse him a little bit, but I just think he just got everything wrong. And then to come out with the excuse afterwards, I got pushed and my head hit the canvas. Like, to me, it's just a bad day in the office, man.
Go on, Princess.
I was just going to say, I think, you know, there's a lot of disappointment with Dylan's performance, especially after his performance against Povetkin. He really showed that he has a different caliber in him. And I think a lot of us were expecting that to be brought out, and he just didn't seem steady. He looked really tired to me as well, sort of from round two. Round one was already a bit shaky. Again, coming out of southpaw, wasn't really great at it. Wasn't sure about the tactic on that side. And then just throughout the fight, he just looked completely exhausted. And it was like, what's going on? Just a lot of frustration, really.
Go on, Mike.
Yeah, but I'm saying, just what you lot said. I'm glad Princess said about disappointed, because I feel like reading the comments and that and all the reaction, people are actually like slating the people that's slating Dillian for his performances. They're saying like, oh yeah, you can't put a man down for like, you know what I mean? You can't kick a man when he's down because of what he's done and performed. But at that level you can, man, for that hyper expectation of that fight and the whole, when you deep the whole 1,000 days that they was talking about mandatory, this and that, this and that. What did he really bring to the table? He bought fuck all, innit? Like, yeah, disappointed, man. And I think, like, boy, you can't defend him with that performance, because it's like, go out on your shield. I know he went out on his fucking back, but it's like he didn't even throw caution to the wind. And when he hit, it was crazy. Like Jordan said, it was sloppy and it was just fucking, it was like a pub man fight, innit?
Yeah,
it's frustrating when you know he can do better as well. It's different because we've seen him perform so much better against opponents that are nowhere near, in my opinion anyway, Tyson's level. So it's like, how did you leave your A game at home that night with 94,000 plus people watching? You left your A game, and we were all really hoping to see more. Exactly, yeah. Even if you thought that Fury would win, because personally I had it predicted that Fury would win anyway, I still was shocked that Dillian didn't bring a better game. So it was like, the disappointment was just, it went from here to like.
I can't lie.
How much of that are we putting on? How much of that are we putting on the level of Tyson Fury? Like, is it just because he is that much the level above everyone else, or is it really Dillian?
No.
Do fuck all?
I'm putting it all on Dillian, because I was even arguing with these guys at work here, saying how Dillian could easily beat Joshua now because all the fights he's had, he's shown more boxing ability, he's shown this and he's shown that. I'm like, bro, he's been getting stunned off Christian Hammer. He's been taking right hands off Christian Hammer and getting wobbled. Oscar Rivas put him down. The guys he's out boxing, no offense to them, but they don't take a lot to outbox them. Like they're not of, like you said, they're not
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
level of Tyson Fury. So I think with sort of that Eddie Hearn matchroom top 10 heavyweight, like anyone who's a heavyweight right now is basically a top 10 heavyweight. So when you're seeing White outbox
yeah.
these guys, it's like, who's he really doing it against? It's like Povetkin, how old is he? I can't remember anymore, but his
That's
legs
50,
were
that's
gone
50.
years
Just to say
ago.
50. Just to say
He was shot when he fought AJ, and it's a lot of years after, and you still put Dillian down and out. So I had no expectations
And
going
it's
into
the
the
same
fight. Yeah, that's exactly the same punch, the same shot. Joshua, Povetkin, everyone's hitting him with the same thing, and he hasn't learned. He's not learning. I just don't see it, and I don't. We got to remember, Dillian Whyte's 34. He hasn't had a lot of time to really tune his boxing. He come as a MMA fighter, kickboxer, so it's not his fault. But at the same time, I never thought he was levels to be even challenging someone like Fury.
You know what it is? Me personally, it's not even to slate the heavyweight scene, but I feel like if a lot of these top 10 guys, if there was any other weight category, you would never hear of them. Like they're just basic boxing ability is just not up to standard. And whereas Fury has got that basic fundamentals behind him, like he's just head and above shoulders are better than everyone. All these guys are just relying on is just a heavy punch and being able to take a shot every now and again.
What do you not
To me, yeah, sorry, just 1 second. For me, I was expecting this to be the greatest ever Dillian Whyte performance, even if he lost. From the time that I just know as a fighter, yeah, if I'm going to lock myself away in Portugal or wherever he is, and I'm not doing no press, best know that I'm coming there to give an absolute war. He just, to me, he was fighting really tentative, and don't get me wrong, the first few rounds you would be, but it was just
what
not
are you saying?
performance.
He basically was still in Portugal because Dillian Whyte didn't even turn up in it. He might as well stayed over.
Well, I'm not even trying to slate the man, but he left his chin in Portugal, man. That's what
All right, we
what
got to
do you
address.
not think? What do you think, quickly say? What do you think? So, what do you think, Dillian, from based on what we've seen from him before, what do you think he could have done and should have done that would have made that fight a lot more competitive?
First thing, close the gap. It was like he was just so worried. I think his brain, something just wasn't connecting to his feet, closing the gap, overhands. There was just too much thought process going in it. Just needed to let his hands go, really. And get in there.
You know what it is for me? For me, obviously, no one knows what happened in their spars years ago. Dylan's the only man that would know what happened in them spars. To me, he's gone in there like a guy that's been touched up in sparring, and he's just hoping for that one shot. Like to me, that's all that fight was.
I want to say one thing though. One thing Fury done very well that no one's giving him credit for is we all talk about all the time Dillian Whyte and that check left hook, but every single right hand Fury threw was straight down the middle, straight down the pipe. He didn't even give the guy a chance to even come and counter him back. And normally if Fury throws a right hand, it's not normally straight. It's normally like looping. He don't throw his shots properly, but he didn't even give Whyte the chance to come back with that check left hook. Every time Whyte tried to go to the body, he was stepping out, he was blocking it. He negated all of Whyte's good points before Whyte could even set off and do it. And I think that comes from the footwork. Whyte's got to be set to throw his punches. Fury doesn't. So I thought, yeah, I just never gave him a chance.
Saying that, that's obviously, for me, from a trainer's point of view, from a complete like game plan and that, from the training side of things, yeah, you know Fury's good at that. You know Fury's strengths are his rangy boxing, stepping off, keeping it long. And obviously, all of Dillian Whyte's strengths are up close and personal. So from a training point of view, I was talking to a few people about it beforehand. For me personally, the fact that you didn't turn up to none of the press conferences, you've done all that stuff, like, would have got in Fury's head. Because Fury is a thinking fighter. He don't take risks. He wait till he knows he's comfortable. And you could see that in the fight. He didn't look like he got out first round before he landed that uppercut. So for me personally, I believe Dillian should have been walking him down without even really, you didn't even have to throw too many shots. Walk him down, just get Fury moving around the ring, cutting the ring down so he's burning up energy on his legs. You ain't even got to throw the shots. Just pop out a little shot here and there. But just, so by the time you got into that 4th, 5th round, if you had been pushing him around the ring so his legs was tired and you didn't let him set and you had him constantly moving on the back foot, then you could have slowly started trying to get yourself into a room. But it looked like he didn't make any attempt to try and close, like Princess said, there was no closing the gap. There was no cutting down the ring. It's like he was happy for Fury to keep it long and happy to get picked off at range. And it's like, as soon as Fury wanted, and if you watch in the, I believe it was the 4th or the 5th, you see Fury, after he took a couple of Dillian's big shots, he just closed the gap. He was happy then to stay in close because he knew where your shots were coming from. He knew there was looping and there was wild. So he knew you could see the shots coming. Then he just touched you with that one jab and then lifted you with the uppercut. And you made it. I feel like from a training point of view, I don't actually know his training. I've never seen him do the work he does. But I feel like the game plan was non-existent. Whether that's down to Dillian or the trainer, I feel like there was no game plan. There was no plan A, no plan B, no nothing. He just like a man that was in there looking for that hit and hope.
Yeah.
I think you missed a big part though. Obviously the jab, he lifted him the uppercut, but the most important part was a push, right? When he pushed him over.
But for me, the best work was the touch when he was touching the left and whipping the right downstairs. Because what he's done is he's drawn Dillian Whyte's guard outwards, innit? He's got Dillian worrying about the hooks coming around the side, and that just opened up that opening for that perfect uppercut. And Dillian, I swear that was like the first uppercut he threw.
I was surprised. Obviously, I think at some point, Dillian was trying to adopt like a Hagler Hearns type close in the guard, like he was doing like a cross guard. But there was one point when the uppercut landed, he was square. It's just like, these are rookie mistakes, man. You're doing this against one of the pound for pounds. It's just, what are you doing?
See, for me, that performance there, before this fight, everyone was talking about Dillian versus man like Wilder and that. For me, that put the Wilder fights into perspective because Wilder Tyson had to fight out of his skin in the first and the third fight. The second fight, obviously, we know that was a one-sided beatdown. But the third fight showed what Wilder's capable of. Showed Wilder, even though people talk about he's only 15 stone, this and that, he's explosive, he's fast, he's got a big engine, he's got a lot of work rate. And based on that performance from Dillian, I think Wilder smokes Dillian if they ever had a fight.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
I think the key thing,
go on.
I was just going to say, the key thing as well is that Fury is actually a really, really good fighter. And I think his physique is one thing that people judge him by and don't really give him the respect that he deserves. He is technically the best across heavyweight right now. And even fighting against someone like Wilder, it just made him look clumsy. I mean, we all know that Wilder's technique isn't the best, but he made Wilder look very clumsy. And when you put him against someone like Dillian Whyte, you just expect a bit more of a polished look. And maybe it's just that Tyson was that good that he made Dillian's footwork look that slow. Like it might just be at that point. I still personally think he didn't do enough, but at the end of the day, Fury is a great fighter, and anyone who goes up against him right now, as you've seen, you know, they're just getting picked apart slowly. He didn't even look like he put that much effort into me. He just looked like he was sparring.
That's what I'm hoping that Deontay Wilder is sitting there, because obviously we know he was talking about maybe potentially retiring that. I'm hoping he's sitting there, see that fight and realise, you know what, he got beat by someone that is levels above the rest of the heavyweight division. So that should be his motivation to think, you know what, he still can go out there and clean up. He could ice the rest of the man in that division. Obviously Fury is head and shoulders above the rest, but you still give him a great fight. And Dillian, someone who they're putting on par with the likes of Deontay Wilder. Hopefully he sees that and thinks, you know what, fuck that. There's still room for me in this heavyweight division, isn't it?
Yeah, after that last performance, I think a trilogy with Chisora would be fitting. That's sort of where I'm at.
She said drop down the level back again. But yeah, I remember when the whole Joshua Wilder saga was going on, and Eddie Hearn offered Wilder stupid money to come fight Dillian in the UK. And I just thought Wilder was silly not to have it. 'Cause I reckon, no respect to White, because I would say he was a better fighter than Wilder. But at the same time, with all the flaws he has, I can't see him going 3 rounds and not getting caught by that right hand. It's just not going to happen. He's going to get caught by it. He's going to get knocked out, because there's no way he can stand up to that. So I just always thought it was silly for Wilder not to pursue that fight, because I think that fight, stylistically for Wilder, you've got a guy he's not got the greatest head movement, he's not got the greatest footwork. I don't know how he's going to get away from that right hand. So I think that fight is just a wash.
Yeah, he should have took that fight when it was being offered, innit? Obviously, I
can't hear you, Mike.
Can anyone? No.
Yo.
Yeah.
Man, I was holding the microphone because
I had my phone plugged in the wall. I didn't have it charging.
What's going on here?
I got locked up.
You lot got me up after hours. You're not even covering the mic.
Bro, this is the Purist at his finest moments, man. Shit. But yeah, what I was saying, obviously, I felt like there was a lot of pride going on in Deontay Wilder not taking that Dillian Whyte fight. I feel like there was a lot of ego shit with Eddie Hearn involved, and he felt like he was being maybe undermined, then he felt that he deserved that AJ fight and he should have it all on the line. But like you said, in hindsight, looking at it now, surely he must be thinking he should have just took that fight, iced man in his back garden, and then gone and called out the fucking AJ fight.
It's all hindsight though, because obviously Dillian Whyte was is a bigger fear factor. Like now, it looks easy. Like everyone could say, yeah, Deontay Wilder would easily beat him, but back then he was a threat, especially the way he was being. But he obviously got caught by Povetkin, but other than that, he was still a threat. So it's all hindsight. Man.
So what's really left in this heavyweight division right now? What do we want to see?
Fury, I mean, I don't think Fury's finished. He's retired. Obviously, he's going to come out for the big fight, which will be AJ. But
wait,
realistically,
what if AJ got no belts though? What if it's Usyk with all the belts and you're not just gonna fight AJ for no reason?
Well, no, I reckon he'll come back to fight Usyk, but I don't think no one fucks with Fury. Like they're all too slow, too small.
Who wins out of AJ and Usyk?
Usyk.
You know what?
Why'd you say it like that though?
I'll back AJ the whole time, innit, bro? Like realistically, he's got to switch up his whole game plan. Unless he's sitting on Usyk's chest for 12 rounds, or 9.5 rounds that he's got in him.
What, you're gonna back him and tell him to switch up his whole game plan?
AJ's got to switch up his whole game plan. Like the old AJ, throwing multiple combinations, bullying around, like
see when AJ
at distance, it's crazy.
Was Usyk mandatory when AJ gave him the fight for all the belts?
Yeah.
Because right now I feel like if take Usyk out of the picture, if AJ didn't suffer that Usyk loss and Fury just done what he'd done and to Dillian and all the hype was around Fury, I reckon that would have worked in AJ's favour because for the first time, it would have been in a way where AJ is by far the underdog. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what he needs. Where his whole career, he's been that man that's been hyped up. The pressure's been on his shoulders like a motherfucker. And I've been one of his biggest critics. But obviously, anyone on that stage, it's hard, innit? I'll give him the benefit of that, man. That's untold amount of pressure he's gone through. So I think having Fury being hyped up the way that he is now, and having AJ, obviously, having the Ruiz loss, I'm taking away the Usyk fight, having the Ruiz loss and feeling like he's got something to prove could have made that fight a much better fight, the AJ versus Fury fight. But obviously, he's got a massive hurdle in front of him, which is Usyk, which for me, stylistically, he's all wrong for AJ, innit?
Yeah, I think so.
Because one thing we said from get-go, and AB's always said it, and I love to argue him if you go back to our early podcast days, but AJ stylistically does pose Fury a threat just because he's a boxer, he's a thinker, he's got a good jab, and he throws straight, hard shots. Yeah, so I think he does stylistically, but if he's mentally not the right fighter, if he's not the same fighter, which a lot of people believe that he's not the same fighter he was a few years ago, then obviously he ain't got a chance. The last man you want to be in is with Fury, innit?
Even dimensions, like what's the height difference between them two? Like 3 inches?
3 inches.
Yeah, I mean, all of that plays a massive part.
And he's got a good jab. AJ's got a lovely jab when he sticks to his shape and pops his jab and he's 1-2. AJ does the basics very well, innit?
Yeah. But yeah, to me, there's no one, unless that AJ fight happens, I just see Fury whitewashing everyone. I don't think anyone causing problems. Everyone's too slow, too small. Yeah.
Even with Joshua being stylistically probably the best to beat Fury, he ain't gonna do it. He's not gonna do it.
But a few years, like I said, without the losses he's been through, like I think Usyk, obviously the pressure of everything, and then what the Usyk done to him, the schooling that he gave him over 12 rounds, that affects a fighter massively, man. And it's gonna go one of two ways. We'll see it in the Usyk fight what AJ's got left in the tank, innit? For me, it's gonna be very obvious whether AJ is world level or not after that fight, because I feel like either he's going to get schooled worse and maybe potentially get stopped, or he's going to surprise everybody, come like Jordan said, maybe adapt a whole new game plan, which I've always believed stylistically, the way that he's trained doesn't benefit his physical attributes. If he finds a trainer that knows how to get the best out of what he is very good at, which is a fucking solid, stiff Nigerian, just got a heavy jab, then who knows?
Hey, don't say solid, stiff Nigerian on the podcast ever again, bro.
What am I going to say?
Sorry, go on, Jordan.
No, I was just saying that AJ, like I said before in the previous podcast, I'd like to see him go get like a Mexican style trainer. Even what's his name? Andre Ward's old trainer. Hunter. Virgil Hunter?
Virgil Hunter. I think that's a bit too
I'd like this.
high IQ for Josh. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, same.
Mhm.
He trains Boatsy now, innit? Joshua Boatsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's I think he's too technical. I feel like obviously Andre Ward would just pick that up effortlessly, innit? But when you're getting these fighters, it's a bit raw, and I don't know. I don't think it always benefits them. But I agree with Jordan.
No, you know what? I feel like Hunter will cater it to the style, because obviously you're not going to see Joshua doing no Philly show.
But Jordan,
I think it's
how
just
did you
all
go
like little
from
tricks to
Mexican
inside
style
game.
coach? How'd you go from Mexican style coach to Virgil Hunter, bro?
Because I'm thinking more technical. Because I feel like if Joshua tried to do like an Andy Ruiz, walk someone down, he ain't got the stamina for that realistically. So he's got to be a bit more tact in it. So that's why I switched that out.
He should just go. If Andy Ruiz is still with
Canelo team.
Canelo's trainer, is he still there?
No,
I don't think so.
But I would go train with them, man, alongside Canelo, just to see the levels, the way man trains, the hunger that man trains, the intensity man trains at. Call on man like Andy Ruiz and a couple of them raw fucking heavyweights that's gonna fuck you up in sparring and do a solid 3-4 months with them, man. I think it benefit massively from that. I think his sparring partners, when you see pictures and videos of AJ back in the day sparring, everyone's smiling, everyone's happy, innit? You know he weren't in the trenches in the gym.
Mike wants to see bloody sparring partners, everyone crying their way home.
trust me, contemplating live. Yeah, I agree.
We got to discuss though. I think Deontay Wilder, he was like the king of excuses, and I didn't think it can get any more weird, innit? But Tyson Fury accusing that push of being the reason why his legs were jelly. He banged the back of his head, and that's what actually knocked him out. Yeah, this is frozen, innit? God damn.
We're here.
Well, here.
We're saying if you're back, we're back. Oh shit. Oh my days.
A little bit more of a blow.
But first of all, yeah, he jumped up on his feet. The way he got up, he jumped up. He put his hands on the floor, lifted himself up on his feet. He didn't take a knee, what an experienced fighter would do in that moment. So that shows that his head's a bit blurry in it. And then he tried to jump straight up. Ref looked at you standing on your feet, and you was gone. You couldn't stand on your own 2 feet. So I think they could have given him another 30 seconds. The few would have still fucked him up.
Yeah, for sure. I just feel like he deserved the extra time.
From the time that taking a sobriety.
Can you start again? Because my thing kind of cut out. Can you start again? Sorry.
No, fuck that.
I don't know what's going on.
So ask the question again.
Me, I'm a big fan of the old school fights. Yeah, I'm talking old. You go back to like Jack Dempsey days, yeah, and I know that's extreme. I'm not trying to compare it to that, yeah. But the ref will lift them man up, yeah. The opponent is standing above you before you're even on your fucking feet. So I'm down to give the man as long as he wants to take a pasting in it. But we know realistically, Dillian, he was not coming back from that shot. We could have given him all the time in the world. He was not coming back.
No, for sure. I think we can genuinely say that the fight was done before that uppercut. But I'm just saying, like, that just rules out any space for excuses. And I feel like the refs do sometimes give people that extra 94,000 people. Let them. You know how much they paid for those tickets?
That is true. It's true. And
30 seconds. You know what I mean? I'm going home at round 6.
Yeah, you want violence.
There's 1 second left. You could have given me round 7.
If it was the other way around, you reckon
was it 1 second left?
The extra seconds to recover.
Yeah.
I hear it though. No, I hear it though. You let him go still. You let him go. I didn't even know that, but yeah, 1 second left. Let him go. Let him see the minute out. And if he's still stumbling, stop it. But if not, let him go.
Oh, is there a second left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh crap! I didn't know. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. It's the end of the round, yeah.
But still, the ref done his job though, man.
He did the right thing.
He couldn't stand.
But I'll tell you what. Again, experience. From the time that Dillian Whyte was told to walk towards the ref, he should have took a deep breath, spat his gums by accident, like literally just little tactics, innit? Yeah. And then done an AJ, gone back to the ropes, had a little lean back, sit on the ropes for a bit, and say, Can you repeat it? Yeah. Put his hand out, reach for the ropes, walk all the way down. Yeah, I feel like his head was low in the gaff. Yeah, you can't complain.
Definitely,
And
just salty. Do you know how the tickets are? You know, that's good money. You know, hit me with
yeah,
another.
yeah. But Dylan talking about the push is embarrassing. Yeah, man saying like he used the words he full on pushed me. Like it make like full on makes it any more push than it fucking was. Cause you gotta push. This is the pro game. You know what I'm saying? He's nudged you after his shot has landed. Like that's his job.
As Deontay Wilder commented on it, because obviously Dylan was slating him for the excuse of the costume, innit? So is Deontay not said anything about the push?
Nah, man. But I think Deontay is what's his name? Tyson has made him a different man. I reckon he's gonna rise above that shit. I got a funny feeling this fight is gonna bring out Deontay Wilder and he's gonna be a different fighter. And I won't mind seeing it.
I thought he was retired.
Huh?
I thought he's focusing on his perfume brand or whatever he was doing.
He did say that he was retiring, but you know,
he hasn't done
keep that money around. He might come back out.
Boy, 10 million, I'll go fight Fury.
Spend the whole fight on the canvas.
I'll tell you. I just do what that guy done. Just jump straight out the ring.
Well, any other topics you want to touch on?
Who's next for Dillian Whyte? He wants a rematch, but you know, Tyson's not going to give him that. So fast forward, you know, let's add a year on and put him in front of Lawrence Okoli. We lot saying?
Nah,
she's straight on smoke, you know.
There was that sparring rumor they had a few years ago. You remember that?
I'm sure Lawrence called him out as well. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sure he did.
I think given.
Oh my gosh, it's Mike now.
Yeah, at least it's not me this time.
If he loses AJ.
Yeah, go again, Mike. Go again.
Yeah, I'm saying obviously AJ and Usyk. If AJ loses that fight, then I feel like AJ and Usyk are perfect. AJ and Dylan are perfect for each other, isn't it?
Yeah. If not, one of them will got to call David Hay out of retirement.
No, but yeah, that White AJ fight is always there, isn't it? Win, lose or draw, both of them, they can always go back at it.
Yeah, 100%. He just won't be as big as what he once was, but he'll still be big because the fan bases of both in a minute. So
do it for the British title. That's probably what I level that anyway, isn't it?
British title.
No, but that Okoli fight would be I don't know. Okoli's a bit slim, isn't it? He's gonna be holding on for dear life.
No, Dylan was tired.
Tired.
So he's gonna cut down in shape. It's gonna all make sense. Don't worry. Give us about a year or so, maybe even under a year.
Are you promoting it as well?
You know what I mean? Joking.
So anything else, boys, girls?
Obviously, you had Echo fought on the undercard. So he's got British, IBF, and Commonwealth. What do you make of him and Conor Ben? How do you see that playing out?
What did you just say he's got? The British,
Commonwealth, and IBF.
I was confused as well. IBF what, bro?
Is it international?
European. IBF European champion. The man's British, Commonwealth, and European. But on paper, he's done more than Conor Ben.
No, of course. Well, of course. But I'm saying, how do you see that fight going?
I ain't even seen him box. I ain't gonna lie.
Fuck's sake, Mike.
But I'm not. But I know he's a danger man. He's a danger man. From time the welterweights, the time the man ain't talking about his name. From time he's got all them straps and the people. When we talk about obviously the fighters with the hype behind them, we're mainly talking about matching fighters. Let's be honest, and they don't mention his fucking name. So he's obviously a dangerous fucking fighter for all them, man, isn't it?
I think he beats Conor Ben.
So that, you know what? I mean, yeah, no, you said it. I think you got to look at the fights in it. Obviously, Conor Ben's had the bigger names on paper, but they're all past it. Echo's been in non-stop 50-50 fights, and he's come out on top. So, I mean, my favorite would be Echo as well, if honest. But Conor Ben does rise to the occasion. He's shown he's got better and better. But I think if you're just going with a guy that's fighting other young, hungry lions at the same time, doing a job, walking people down, still getting the KOs, yeah, I think you do have to go with Echo, to be honest with you.
I've seen Echo fight once live, and that was when Ryan won the Southern Area title, and Jordan was also fighting on that card, Mike, if you remember. Or not.
Yeah.
He was there, bro. He was in the building.
I knew the name from somewhere.
But yeah, he looks solid. He was like a slick kind of boxer, the type that would give Ben problems. But I just think Ben's punching power is something else, and that sharpness, I reckon Ben can put it on him, and Ben will probably get him out of there.
You know what it is? I think I don't think there's nothing slick about Echo. He's just one of them workhorses, just walks people down, throw him loads of punches. Majority of his games on the inside, to be honest with you. That's why I think it'll be an absolute war. Like, I know Connor's calling out the bigger names, Amir Khan, Kell Brook, but realistically, they don't want to see that, no, because I think he beats all of them. They're all past it. In terms of giving a fan of an explosive fight, yeah, he's got to go for Echo, especially domestic level, because then when he goes to European, he's undenied. Like, he's going to be up there.
Yeah. And I think mentally for a fighter as well, it's nice to know that there's no question marks over the levels you've gone through, innit? Like, you've cleaned up domestically, you've cleaned up European, so.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Mike, Jordan, you member of the team, Princess. Watch out for her. She's gonna have a few interviews lined up soon. Yeah, make sure you like.
So soon by the sound of it as well, bro.
Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, podcasts, any podcast app, leave a review. Any message for the fans, guys? What's he doing?
Man's breaking fast. He's breaking fast. And make sure you send this to his trainer. Make sure you send this to Rod, innit?
No, I'm trying to get that Nutella sponsorship, bro.
Oh, any messages, guys, other than Nutella?
I haven't, guys. I've enjoyed.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you guys again. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.
Thanks so much.